But to begin, Oleksii, it's absolutely wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for making time to present today. The floor is yours, but we would love you to give us a little bit of context as well as to what's been happening in Ukraine over the last few hours.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Yes, we had a very hard night. I mean, for the few months, it was the largest missile attacks, but our anti-missile systems worked very well, and that's why we have not so much damage that it could be. Yes, and it's very symbolic that I will take the floor without the electricity through the mobile internet. And when I share the scenario, the Foresight results, you will see that it's very, I think, symptomatic. Yeah, let me share the screen. Okay, thank you, but it's not that slide. Okay. Yes, right. I am the co-head of Interparliamentary Inter-Party Caucus Strategic Foresight, and our main goal to make huge studies about the scenarios of the future, different fields, and especially of our country and our enemy. And during the 2022-2023, we during the 7 months, we make a joint study with the British Parliament, with British Parliamentary All-Party Caucus for Future Generations. This study with the support of United Nations Development Program. And as you see on the slide, we had a standing expert team, so-called Future Investigating Team, and more than 800 participants that joined through the specially developed chatbot, which worked in a Telegram platform and Viber platform. And it's because we need the helicopter view and very wide expertise to gather a lot of signals. And as you see, we gathered more than 160 signals. It's different signs of signs of changes in different sources. I mean, some scientific papers or newspapers for some thoughts of the leaders of the countries, etc. Then through the so-called sense-making seminars, we joined these signals into the critical uncertainties and drivers of changes. And on the base of these critical uncertainties and drivers of changes, we build the scenarios. I have a little bit of slides about the methodology. I think it's interesting. The critical uncertainty, it's a parameter of the future that we cannot predict the exact state of it. We have some trends, you know, that we can extrapolate and predict some state of this trend in the future. But in parallel with this, we have some parameters we couldn't predict. For example, some decision of the leader of the country, or some key events, for example, usage or not usage of the nuclear power, or some fail in the front line, or some extraordinary event, technogen catastrophe, like the event with our dump on the east of Ukraine, etc. And on the cross of these parameters of the trends and these key uncertainties, we used the inductive methodology to build the scenarios. The difference between inductive and deductive methodologies: in deductive method, we fix some parameters, some critical uncertainties, and make concrete amount of scenarios. It can be quadrant, 4 scenarios or more, but the problem is that we fix some concrete uncertainties. But in our case, we had more than 28 uncertainties, and that's why we cannot make the quadrant on 28 ASICs. Yeah, that's why we used the so-called inductive scenarios when we hypothesize about the state of the uncertainty, and then this uncertainty like a magnitude another, and we group uncertainties in the scenarios. Maybe it's too hard to understand, but we have no time to deeply discuss about this. And to present it on one slide, we use this diagram. Here you see four key scenarios. We grouped these 28 uncertainties in 6 categories, and that's why you see 6 dots on the axis. But in this, all of these categories contain more uncertainties, 6 or 10 uncertainties in such categories. And as you see, we have absolutely negative paths, negative scenarios with a lot of red dots, and some very positive scenarios. But the more, I think, interesting scenario is this. Here is a table with the uncertainties in this category. For example, this one category with about the scale and impact of war contains 6 sub-uncertainties with different concrete topics. And let's dive into scenarios, because it's a more interesting part of the Foresight. First scenario is absolutely negative. It's about World War III, and it's based on some interference of different problems in EU, in US-China relationships, in some indecisive approach of European Union when the financial support and military support for Ukraine, and the obligations regarding the NATO agreements, enlarging the military budgets and military equipment is fail. And in this case, Russia has the opportunity to get more territories from Ukraine, and it's encouraged Russia to move further and actually start the direct war operations against the NATO and European Union states. Well, in our Foresight, we consider the more possible targets will be Moldova and Estonia, but maybe some other countries. In this scenario, NATO will react, and it starts the large-scale world war. Second scenario is about the so-called unfair peace, when the military and financial support will be not enough, and that's why Ukraine will actually will need to make some temporary agreement. And in this case, we can have some internal instability and some unpredictable electoral results, and not very democratic authority, because in case of continuous threat from the Russia, the militarians and some not very liberal democratic approach will be more adequate for the situation. And in this case, it raises the risk of new types of oligarchs and autocratic regime, and it can undermine our obligations, our efforts to join the European Union and NATO. It's not very good scenarios. Even if we have some temporary compromise, it can lead to more internal problems in Ukraine. And the more positive scenarios is when we will get enough of support, military and financial, and develop our internal capacity to strike the targets on the Russian territories. And all combining this, the fail of Russia on the front line, internal problems on the Russian territory with economy, with the production as a result of Ukrainian strikes, it can bring us to the situations of internal instability in Russia, and it will open the opportunity to become the member of EU, NATO, and to get the territory back. But more interesting scenario in context of our today's meeting is the situation when we stand now, because before this settlement victory of World War III, we on the scenario of the destruction of Ukraine, of the stagnation, and the need to adapt to this current state. And what is in this scenario? War will continue for maybe 1, 2, 3 or more years, and Russia will continue the strikes, like today's strikes, and every second strike will destroy some piece of Ukrainian infrastructure, including internet, water supply, heating, etc. And it motivates the people to leave the large cities and to buy or relocate themselves to some villages or small towns, because there they will have local batteries, sun panels, sun power panels, some mobile internet, and they can grow the foods, the vegetables on the ground and eat it, and the cost of living much cheaper on the villages. And in this case, we will face some kind of deurbanization, deindustrialization of Ukraine, but on the same time, the local small communities will grow, and the people from the big cities will bring their culture, their civic values on that field, and establish some new culture of electoral activities, but to get the country together, to keep the country together, to get the people the possibility to participate in democratic process, we need very strong digital platform. And actually, Ministry of Digital Transformation and our committee in the Parliament and the Parliament at all made a lot during these years to give the people these possibilities. On the first months and days of large-scale invasion, all the government, all the parliamentarians had all the possibility to continue working. All the documents, all the data, decisions, conversations, even the meetings of the committees took place on the digital platforms. And but now I think it's not enough. Not I think, it's the results of our study. It's not enough the possibility for local communities to have the same. We have very strong platform on the state level, but in case of these scenarios and this relocating of the enterprises and people to the small villages, to the territories, we have a challenge of development these tools for local communities. Of course, the big challenge is cybersecurity, because when all the country functioning on the digital platforms, it's a narrow, I mean, it is a more fragile point and the target for the enemy to destroy it. And investment on it will be more and more important. And of course, stimulating of local economy. I mean, decentralizing the production, stimulating the eco technology and alternative energy technologies is very important in this scenario. We can see on this slide some key milestones that bring us into this point, but I think we don't have time to dive deeply. But here you see that we will have as positive and in parallel the negative results of this scenario. It's not some kind of utopia where all people gather the vegetables from the ground, and use mobile internet. In this scenario, we will have decline in science innovations, because it's more centralized thing. I mean, for example, we cannot build the collider, hadronic collider on the village, yeah, and some huge production mega factory of batteries or cars on the village. It will be difficult, but in the same time, in case of these scenarios, we have to continue to live and adapt, and that's why we need to build these tools now to be not in a bad position if we will move through these scenarios. And here is some recommendations. Some of these I taught previously. Accelerate mobile and internet connectivity. For example, now I'm taking the floor through the mobile internet, and it's very strong. You know, it's true 4G internet, and even if we will not have electricity for 8 or 10 hours, I will have the internet, and it's very important to have protected and localized infrastructure for the internet. Balance the digital transformation between the state and local authorities, as I told previously. Yeah, we have very strong state platform, but not enough platform for local communities. But we have some very successful cases, and we can spread it. We can spread these practices and teach the municipalities and give them for free the tools for this for these citizen participations. We need to stimulate decentralization of key industries and energy systems, and very important to create digital platforms and possibility to participate for refugees, for our expats, because now we have more than 10 million people abroad, and all of them is our capital, is our human capital. They are still our citizens, and they should have the possibility to be involved in decision-making process, to vote, or to have the information and services for people abroad. And cybersecurity, as I thought, and very important, it's to take into account the differences between the people of different age and the people with different level of information and skills. Because in case when all the state is functioning on the digital platforms, we can have the situation with the inequality and unequal involvement, and that's why the social services of Ukraine should accelerate the skills and to spread more information and engage. I mean, people in more age. I forgot this term, and people from not big cities in this practice. Yeah, thank you very much, and I think we can opportunity to discuss it later.
Thank you so much, Oleksii. That was an incredible overview. And there are so many key themes that you've raised there that I know are going to come back through our conversation today and through our workshop. The importance of the diaspora was a really key point. The importance of local government, the consideration of the digital divide, some really key issues that you raise, and very sobering and important context as well for how essential decentralized digital survival is to the future visions of Ukraine. So thank you so much for that context, and looking forward to discussing it.
And I hope that it not will be our basic scenario, but we should be ready for all cases. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, it's this question of the known knowns and the known unknowns. You know, those questions, and actually mapping them, I think, was wonderful to see that process. So thank you so much, Oleksii. That's really helpful.